Galimera, Galimera, Galimera. Good morning, good morning, good morning. I thought I'd start this morning by just showing little mum and little baby, little Pickles there. He's a cutie, he really is. He's really come on leaps and bounds. He's still having a little bit of a suckle with his mum at the moment, although he's on food as well, solid food. But yeah, no, he's really just, he's turning into a right little cutie at the moment. And mum is doing a fantastic job in looking after him as well and keeping him on the straight and narrow. And yeah, he's really, really doing well. So there you go. That is mum, old sweetie. In fact, since she's had him, she looks really, really healthy. She's looked healthier than what she ever has done. And I think that is one of the good things about motherhood. I think it actually can improve. And there's little Pickles there. He loves his mum to bits as well. And she's always there making sure that he's safe. Right, so there you go. That's a quick look at the little ones this morning. Let's go outside the house. Chickens are on the veranda. And as you can see, what a beautiful blue sky this morning. The weather today is incredible. You might remember yesterday, it was really hot yesterday. Very, very hot indeed. I think temperatures were over 30 yesterday. We are having a little bit of a, what's the word I'm looking for? A bit of a heat wave at the moment. And according to Amanda's weather, she says, morning Ginge, Thursday's weather, sunny and warm with clouds. Can't see any of those at the moment. However, she says it's going to be highs of 26. It will feel like 30. Enjoy the day. Well, I've got to be honest. I think it felt hotter yesterday. It really did. But anyway, there you go. That's the weather for today. Right, let's crack on with the news. There's been quite a bit going on in the last 24 hours here in Greece. So let's bring you, first of all, just to remind you that yesterday we had the arrival of the very first Gatwick flight yesterday. No fanfare for this flight because basically it wasn't tourists coming. From the reports I got back, mainly everybody aboard was expatriate, or they were workers, or it was family reunification people. I did get some information to say that some of those who've obviously arrived, they'd obviously booked return flights. Now, they've been told that their return flights have been cancelled, which is interesting. So in effect, some of them are stuck here. But because they're family members or family reunifications, basically they're going to have to wait and see what happens and basically ride it out. So immediately, and again, people were saying, why was there no interest by the local media? Well, the reason is because I think really what they want to see is proper tourist flights arriving. Basically, that's it. So these kind of flights that have come in, I've kind of got in, shall we say, a little bit through the back door, as it were. But interestingly, on the boards at the moment for arrivals today, we still got an EasyJet flight from Liverpool on the boards for arrival. Now, from what we understand, it's not sure whether this aircraft is coming or not. So if anybody knows any better, if they know it's coming or not, it's due to arrive here at 5 minutes past 1. But from the information we got last week, EasyJet had cancelled their flights from Liverpool. But again, confusion is still reigning. The only thing we are 100% sure of in arrivals today is the Edelweiss flight from Zurich, that's Switzerland. That's going to arrive tonight around about 7:30. But other than that, still mystery with the British flights at the moment. And there's more information on that coming up in just a short time. Anyway, let's have a quick look at the COVID stats over the last 24 hours. Some good news. It is starting to recede a bit. Yesterday, there were 1,517 new infections recorded, which was down from 2,433 on the time before. No new cases were actually detected at checks into the country, which was down from 3 on the previous report. Now, when it comes to national statistics at the moment, there were no new cases recorded in Macardo. There was one case recorded in Kefalonia. Corfu has had a drop, to 14 new cases recorded there. And for Zakynthos, we've had 2 new cases on the national statistics. However, on the local statistics, we've not had any confirmation of infection here on the local statistics. So at the moment, that means we've had 38 cases so far this month for the month of May, and in total since the beginning of the pandemic, for the beginning of the year, we've had 562. So again, that is looking good. Now, when it comes to deaths as well across Greece, those death numbers are down as well. Last time I reported to you 50. Today, I can report to you 44 deaths. Once again, our condolences to those people affected. That brings the death toll at the moment since the pandemic started to 11,872. Once again, all of those people affected were either over the age of 70 or they had underlying health conditions as well. When it comes to incubated cases, that also is down as well, which is good to see. Reported to you last time, 556 people in incubation. Well, at the moment, it is 547, of which 341 are male and 206 are female. Right now, going back to flights again. Now, according to the local press today, according to the Greek state broadcaster ERT, they've had information from the Daily Telegraph which says that they are looking at separating mainland Greece from the island of Rhodes. Sorry, I'll say that again. I'll start again. ERT, who are the national broadcaster here in Greece, they have been publishing a story about information that they have had from the Daily Telegraph newspaper about the separating of mainland Greece from the islands. Now, it means that Rhodes, Crete, Zakynthos and Kos, according to their information, are expected to be included in the green list. Now, the Transport Secretary, Robert Kurtz, told MPs the UK government would take such an approach where possible as it prepares to unveil the next list of destinations that could be added to the quarantine green list early next month on June the 7th. Now, this would mean that the Canary, Balearic and Greek islands could be described as green, separate from Spain and Greece, while also paving the way for other Caribbean and Mediterranean islands to be declared open with no restrictions on UK tourists. However, thousands of Britons were upset by the government's silent ban on moving to 8 areas of the country, that's within the UK, that are experiencing an increase in cases due to the Indian variant. Anyway, the backlash was such that the government withdrew a new directive urging citizens to be careful when moving to areas such as Bolton in Manchester, Leicester and the town of Hounslow in London. So again, there's even confusion in England about where you can go and where you should not go with what's going on at the moment. So let's just hope that Greece is going to be put on the green list, or if it need be, Zakynthos gets onto the green list as well, so people coming on holiday don't have to worry about quarantining on their return back to the UK. So again, we're almost to the end of May now. We're hoping as well that Mitsotakis is going to be lifting some of the restrictions on businesses here. So we'll be looking out today, Thursday, and also on Friday to see if any of those restrictions that we have at the moment, like inside dining, numbers of people inside venues, and of course the music ban and commentary ban on sport, those get lifted as well, because again, we need those to happen. And also that the curfew, maybe the time may change on the curfew as well. So again, we've got that to look forward to over the weekend and as we get towards the end of the week, because it's Thursday already. Anyway, the big story at the moment here on the island is the shooting yesterday. Anyway, more details have been published in the local press about Tuesday's night exchange of shots. Now, according to press reports, there were differences between the two men which were involved, which resulted in a blatant exchange of shots in the middle of the road during, it seems, an accidental meeting of the two in the area of Kippi. Now, the memories of the murder of Dimis Koufatis just a few days ago in the city of Zakynthos, everybody will remember that. They are still fresh, according to the press, and it was a natural for people to raise suspicion about a correlation of those incident or that incident in accordance to what went on Tuesday nights. But according to the local press, they said there seems to be no actual connection between those two separate incidents. Anyway, police intervened after information about the shooting, which took place at around about 8 p.m. on Tuesday night. They immediately decided to effect arrests a few hours after the incident. Now, they arrested the two alleged perpetrators along with a third person who was a brother of one of the two involved. Now, the 31-year-old national was allegedly arrested, who is said to be one of the two perpetrators of the shooting. And in fact, the operation was very dangerous as he and his family put up a serious resistance. This is what the police are saying. While the police searched for the other alleged perpetrator, a 31-year-old foreign national who, however, had escaped from his home and was hiding. He was finally located by authorities in the early hours of Wednesday morning. Now, a detailed press release was issued by the police, who said that during the searches, 9mm caliber rounds were found and confiscated. Among others, at the place where the shootings took place, the police were in the possession of the local man that was arrested. A 9mm caliber pistol and 15 rounds of the same caliber of ammunition were found. And at the foreigner's house, they found 444 grams of raw cannabis, one metal knuckle duster, the amount of €870, one empty pistol carrying case, one set of precision scales, and 17 shotgun cartridges. Anyway, a criminal case has been filed against the local man for attempted murder in conjunction with the law on weapons and against the foreigner for violations of the law on weapons and drug trafficking. Anyway, his brother, charges have been filed against him for violation of laws on drugs and weapons as well. Now, this new incident, of course, according to the local press, is just exacerbating the insecurity fueled by the recent assassination of Dimis and brings society and authorities to their responsibilities for the scale of crime on such a small island. Anyway, police said that the perpetrators may have fired in the air, but no one can rule out that a bullet could hit the ground or some other obstacle, and it could have ended up hitting somebody in the wider area. Another fact that is worth noting that in terms is the effectiveness of our country's penitentiary system, as those arrested had previously worked for the authorities in cases of theft and drugs while they had been sentenced to prison and restrictive measures. Now, I know in the past there's been a lot of talk about the amount of organised crime that has been done from prisons. I remember when there was a raid on the Patra prison and a lot of mobile phones were found hidden within that prison, and there was a lot of evidence to found that crime here on Zakynthos was actually being directed from within inside that jail at that time. Anyway, another thing that was noted by the local press here, the fact is that the local police acted immediately and methodically to clarify the case in a short term. However, the issue of crime in Zakynthos is just not limited to the effectiveness of the police, but also requires the deep down changes of attitude of our society as a whole. I think basically what they're saying there is that people should not just turn a blind eye to it, but people should not accept that these people should be allowed to get away or act with impunity. And more needs to be done with the local society in the way that they have an attitude towards crime. A lot of people see some of these people as kind of heroes and kind of laugh about, oh, they've got one over on the government, they've got one over on other people. But that's all well and good if you're not one of them poor persons who's probably being exploited by these individuals. It might be well and good for you because you can stand on the outside and look in. But at the end of the day, these people should not be able to act with impunity on the island and do as they please. So again, it's interesting times to see how this is going to be looked upon by the local authorities here, and what actions may also be taken as well. Anyway, more news has come in from the Greek pharmaceutical regulator, the EOF, which announced on Wednesday that there has been 5 incidents of thrombosis syndrome that have been linked with the Oxford AstraZeneca vaccine since the start of immunisation here in Greece. Now, the EOF's Pharmacological Surveillance Committee said it conducted a thorough assessment of the 5 cases, which were confirmed after a total of 905,915 first and second dose vaccinations with the AstraZeneca had been carried out. Now, based on the existing data, they said that the frequency of thrombosis for the age group of 30 to 39 stands at 1.58 out of 100,000, while for the age group 40 to 49, it's estimated at about 2.28 per 100,000. Now, elaborating on the news at the daily briefing on the pandemic due on Wednesday, the head of the National Vaccines Committee, Maria Thoradoulou, clarified that the committee advises the continuation of the vaccination with the AstraZeneca, arguing that the benefits outweigh any risk of thrombosis. She also said the effects of patients, the affected patients were 4 women aged 36, 44, 47, 61, and also 1 man who was aged 35. Now, 3 of the women are being treated in a hospital. 1 has died, and the man has been released from hospital. If I remember rightly, the man actually was from Crete, and he had a double thrombosis after being injected. Anyway, Theodoros said that the increased risk of thrombosis is seen in women younger than 50 years of age, and asked whether she recommends that the younger people avoid the AstraZeneca jab. She pointed to the vaccination platform, which allows the public to essentially choose their jab. So again, asked how many, this is another important point, because I know Jane is going today for her second jab here on Zakynthos. And something that you should be aware of is that when you go for your jab, there's a thing called the yellow card. Now, I know they're known about in the UK, but we also have the yellow card here in Greece and in Zakynthos. Now, she was asked how many yellow cards have been filled in Greece. And the yellow card is basically if you have any problems with the vaccination, you feel any ill effects, you technically can ask to fill a card in to write down what you're experiencing, and that all goes towards the data that is accumulated through the vaccination program. But anyway, the lady was asked how many yellow cards had been filled in Greece. The online platform used by health professionals in the EU to submit suspect side effects of medicines or vaccines. She said that the EFO has currently examined more than 1,500 and called on those administering jabs not to delay their submissions. The health ministry is expected to mobilise private doctors and organise them into teams trained for delivering COVID-19 vaccinations to thousands of housebound individuals across Greece. Now, going on to that story now, once again, if you do suffer any ill effect when you are having your jab, you are quite within your rights to ask for a yellow card to be raised, so that that information can actually go onto official records as part of the research that's carried out and the studies on the COVID vaccine. Now, just quickly going back to about people having the jab in their home. Now, according to official data, just 65% of the over 85 age group has been vaccinated, despite being among the first to be offered the jab. And you might remember, I actually did say at the time that there was a position where people may not get the jab simply because they don't have family that they can rely on who can get them to the appointments. For some of the people of an age, a more older age group, it's very daunting to try and do things online, and unless you've got family help, it can be very difficult. So anyway, now the authorities are realizing this after months, shall we say, of vaccinations being done. So now the authorities now have said that about 65% of the over 85s group have been vaccinated, but authorities believe that their inability to get to a vaccination centre has played a big role in the low take-up compared to the 80 to 84-year-olds, which 67% have done it, and the 75 to 79-year-old age group, where they've managed to do it. So basically what they're going to do now, they are going to be calling on the help in the home municipality program, which are like the home helps that we would have in the UK. Now, they basically do the same as what home helps do in other locations. Basically, they deliver food and medicine. They help housebound people. They also are now going to be brought in to obviously help with the vaccination program. They said, however, it would be announced in the next couple of weeks as to how they're actually going to organise the home helps in doing this. It's already been said by Anna Markou, who's the head of the Greek Medical Association, putting a doctor inside a person's home is not a simple matter. You don't want them to be accused of bringing the virus into the home. So basically, they're going to they've had the idea, and now they're going to basically work on the plan to implement that. So we'll keep an eye on that. Also, as well, just to be advised that the appointment process for those people aged between 35 to 39 in that age group, the actual platform opened yesterday in Greece, and you can now have all 4 vaccines which are available. You can have the Pfizer, the AstraZeneca, the Moderna, and the Johnson & Johnson. And if you are in that age group between 35 to 39, my advice, go see your pharmacist, get them to book your appointment. They're very, very helpful for that. And obviously, if you want the vaccine, you can obviously go ahead and do that if you wish. Interestingly, another little story about people trying to stop fake news at the moment on the internet. Facebook has announced the extension of its cooperation with the agency France Press, which provides services as an independent content controller, which also includes content included in Greece and Cyprus. Anyway, Facebook has been collaborating for 2 years with the Greek company Elianka Hoaxes in an effort to combat misinformation through Facebook and Instagram in Greece. With the new agreement, the current team of auditors will now be boosted by an experienced AFP executive with whom Facebook works in 18 countries and in more than 20 languages. Facebook has 80 content control partners worldwide in more than 30 European countries in 60 languages, all certified by the International Fact-Finding Network. Interesting. I'm going to be open on that because there's a difference between censorship and fake news. I think most people will say is when they start to say that stories that can be corroborated and have truth in them, that then all of a sudden are then deemed fake news and can be removed. Again, is a slippery slope. And once again, it just basically calls on the individual basically to make a judgment on what you're being told and to cross-reference your news if you wish to obviously see that what you're being told is true or is it fake news. Somebody's fake news might be somebody's truth and vice versa. So again, that is something to look at as well in the future. And finally, a bit of a happy story for you. The Greek community of New York, they're going to be celebrating the bicentenary of the Greek War of Independence on June the 6th with a sail to freedom. Yeah, the main event will be a boat parade, to the Statue of Liberty, highlighting not only the role of Greek shipping and the Greek Navy during the Greek War of Independence, but also as a symbol of the connection between Greeks and the sea. Anyway, Evangela Plakas, she's a publisher of the Hellenic Golden Directory. She said, we celebrate the Greek spirit, our values and our ideas of freedom and democracy, which inspired a unique initiative that will draw international spotlight on it. She also said our ancestors fought and died not just for their country, but for the ideas of free will, freedom of expression, freedom of action, and freedom that rejects tyranny. Now, because of the pandemic, they said they weren't allowed to have a parade up and down the middle of Fifth Avenue, so they decided to change the agenda, and basically they're going to have a collection of boats that are going to sail up to the area of the Statue of Liberty, and while they're there, they're going to lay wreaths symbolising the freedom of all people. And for those people who aren't aware, the Statue of Liberty, Ellis Island, around that area as well, that's where a lot of people came into America during the 1920s and early 1930s as they all came for a better life in the United States. Anyway, they said that the Sea Parade will culminate in front of the Statue of Liberty, symbolising the freedom of all people. There will be a wreath-laying ceremony with wreaths being placed at the sea by participants of the parade, and a performance by the aerialist and dancer Jennifer Kovas as well. Well, there you go. All to look out for. I'll tell you what, I know Jane and I were there at the Statue of Liberty a couple of years ago. They were building a new museum there at the time, so I should think that museum should be finished by now. And depending on what the rules are in New York at the moment in regards visiting things like that, it might be a nice day out, especially for our viewers that we have tuning in from the United States, if you happen to be in that area. Right, okay, let's have a quick look and see who's tuning in at the moment. Just a quick hello. Let's have a look. Alf Ling is watching. Nice to see you, Alf. Rob Davis is watching as well. Brett Weston, is watching as well. Wendy Norcliffe, Jerry Coyle, Rap Reg Buddy is looking in. Christine Coldwell over there in Leighton Buzzard is also tuning in as well. Nice to see you, my lovely. Maria Hadelberg in Sweden is tuning in as well. Steve Hinkling in Stoke-on-Trent is there. Teresa Ann Huggett is watching as well. Steve Hinkling says, Gallimera, sunny here too this morning. Hope it lasts. Yeah, I hope you have a bit of sun in Stoke. You've been having a lot of rain lately, that's for sure. Christine Brown is watching as well. Barbara Telfer is watching. Gary Crowder says, morning. He's watching and tuning in. Can I say thank you, Gary, yesterday for your input into yesterday's live broadcast of your case for the prosecution for the Eurovision Song Contest. I thought it was hilarious, and I think I put my case up for the defence, and between the two, we'll let the jury of common opinion decide whether they should scrap the Eurovision Song Contest or not. But in fact, some of the feedback of it has been very interesting, actually. So once again, thanks for that. It was a good bit of a laugh. And I've got to admit, yesterday I had an absolutely cracking show. I did a bit of overtime on it. So it is now up online on Mixcloud, so you can relive yesterday's show if you want. Audio only, I'm afraid, not the video, just the audio, but it's up online at the moment, and if you want to tune in and listening to it, by all means, feel free, it's there. Anyway, Fiona Hunter is watching, Hutton is watching as well. She says, Galimera Ginge, it's sunny in Barrow-in-Furness in Cumbria. Oh, bless you. Barbara Teller says, morning, sunny here in Chepstow. Missing Zakynthos. Went and had, so you went and had a Greek meal yesterday. Oh, bless you. Was it good? Is it as good as the stuff here? I'd love to know. Jerry Coyle also said, was that not the FO advice on the 21st last week, Jerry Coyle? Do you know what? Everybody, yes, it was actually their advice. You only travel for essential reasons to come here. But the interesting thing is the fact that people have travelled over for essential reasons, and now they can't get back, all right? But again, I know people who've said, you know what, Ginge, we're just going to come over. We can stay for 90 days because we don't have the residency permit. We got homes to check. We got things to sort out. And we're just going to wait and see what transpires. This is why this week at the moment is very important. Yesterday I spent quite a few hours going around Sillery, talking to people in businesses. Everybody's of the same opinion. We want the British to come. We need the British to come. Businesses have managed to survive the winter, and they're ready to go back to work. And the thing is, they want maximum people to come. Even though we've got other nations here, they do not have the same input financially as what the British have. And that is the reason why they so want the British to come. And even the Greeks are saying, Boris, make your mind up, tell us where we stand so we can obviously make other plans. So again, Jerry, you are right. That was the FO's advice. You could come here if it only was for essential business, essential travel. A lot of expats came on that flight yesterday. A lot of workers came on that flight who are able to work. And trust me, there's still a problem at the moment with people and trying to get work visas for here. I've been seeing some people being told that they need work visas, which obviously has been on the card since Brexit. So again, at the moment, this is going to be a very interesting season, not just from the COVID aspect, but also from the work aspect as well. And at the moment, another thing that was being highlighted is there is a lot of work here, but there's not a lot of people that can take up those jobs. So again, I just amazed at the amount of work that appears on Facebook being advertised for people to work in bars, to people to work for cleaning, people to do all sorts of numerous jobs. But unless, of course, you're an EU citizen or you have a work permit or a work visa, you cannot take those jobs up. So it's going to be interesting to see how things unfold as the season goes on. Anyway, he says, it's all right in Mansfield, Jerry says, t-shirt weather already here. Mary Hadelberg says, it's raining in Sweden. Have a lovely day. Bless you. Andrew the Fridge Watkins is watching. Dave Matthews. Dave Matthews says, fishing again. Weather is great, but sun might be too much. Laugh out loud for the fish. Have a great day. So what you say, if it's too sunny, the fish don't want to get caught. There you go. Anyway, Shane Bowen is watching as well up there on Exmoor. Nice to have you tuning in. He says, Galimera Ginge from a very sunny Exmoor. Oh, pleased about that. Bob Cave says, greeting from Granton on Spey. Now there's a name. That's where when I joined the RAF, you always used to do part of your regiment training was done at Grantown on Spey. Also pre-para selection, I remember doing that around Grantown and Spey as well. And they have a massive, there's a bar there or a pub there that's got, I think, 170 different types of local whiskies or something there. And it was always the ambition to try and drink every one of those whiskies on that top shelf. Anyway, great to see you up there, Bob, up there in the Cairngorms. Mark Wells is what? Oh, just quickly, Bob, did you go and have a look to see if they still got the RAF Outward Bound Centre? Is that still at Grantown on Spey? I'd love to know if it's still still there. Just curious. Anyway, Mark Wells is watching as well. Christine Wildridge is watching too. Shane Bowen says, I had my second jab yesterday, Ginge. I'm now fully charged. Laugh out loud. Good on you, sir. It means you'll be able to travel, hopefully. Anyway, Will Bland is watching as well. Nice to have you looking in. Dean Edwards is watching as well. Lorraine Julie Hudson is watching too. She says, hi, Ginge, from a sunny Blackpool. Whee! And Barbara Telfer says, yes, it was very good. Greek music as well. Oh, lucky you. So you obviously had a good Greek meal in the UK because you just felt like it. Fantastic. Anyway, thanks for that. Just to let you know, again, I'll keep my ear to the ground. We'll see what's happening. We're also waiting to see if any announcement made today by the Greek government in just a little bit more clarity about what's happening in regards to restrictions that are still in force in the bars at the moment. I know Manchester United was playing yesterday in the European Champions League. It was a penalty shootout, and I don't know if they had the sound turned down when that game was on. It'll be interesting to know. But anyway, yeah, people really need clarity at the moment. Business owners need clarity at the moment of what they can do, what they can't do, so they don't run foul of the law and end up getting fined horrendous amounts of money that they can little afford to pay out at this time. Right, that's it from me. I'll keep my ear to the ground. Thanks for tuning in. I will, Bob Cave says he's going to have a look today, see if the old Outward Bound Centre is still there. Make sure you knock on the door and say hello and tell them you're ex-RAF Reg. And it'd be interesting to see if that is still up and running, Bob. I really want to know about that now. All right, then, I'm going to leave it there. You have a fantastic day, and I will keep my ear to the ground. Ta-ra.